How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Weeb Lounge. I'm Nick, and this character spotlight is about the Phantom Thief edition of Inori, and she's not stealing nothing. We know she's not stealing nothing. It's a Phantom Thief, but she's dressed up as a ninja trying to be all covert, walking around with a humongous giant cartoon hammer. I mean, look at that thing. Every time she swings it or just bounces around or something, it's probably going to squeak. Just squeak, squeak, squeak. Not very covert now, are you? But this character makes use of that covert buff. And, you know, unlike Ayumi, you attach her name, Ayumi, to anything Ayumi, and it's immediately bad. That's the history of this game so far. Inori is a different story. It's a little bit of give and take, a little bit of a mix, whatever. But hammer time. What? That was stupid. Let's go ahead and get into the skills. Skill number 1, the Shadow Fang. And these skills have a little bit of text to them, so I got to get my reading skills going here. Skill 1, Shadow Fang. It is a single target physical damage attack. Okay, we're good. No, there's a lot more to it. If in a covert state, which means she has her covert buff up, it will increase the damage and also be a guaranteed critical strike that does quadruple damage instead of the normal double. It also gives a little bit of a boost to her technique point gauge. So without the covert state, it's just like a beep, squeak, whatever the hammer sound makes or whatever. She really shouldn't be able to hurt nothing with that thing, but whatever. It's a dragon girl with a giant hammer. I guess if she hits you on the head with anything, even like a wet noodle, you're going to get hurt. Whatever. But with the covert state on, this skill is like, ooh, that's hurty. Okay. Which this first skill really tells you is like, okay, we kind of need to have that covert state up in order to make this character viable, right? Skill number 2, Dragon's Mist gives her the covert state buff. This is where she applies it to herself, and I believe they last about 18 seconds or so. I read that somewhere. It gives a huge increase to her attack speed and physical attack power. Also, a big boost to her technique point gauge. Okay, so she's got 2 skills that do technique point gauge buffs. This one's big. The other one is alright, but it starts ramping her up pretty quick. And if you have anybody else in the group helping her to ramp up, she's going to start doing her union burst very often, very frequently, and a whole lot of times. Yeah, I kind of said that the same thing 3 times in a row, didn't I? Whatever. EX skill increases physical attack power. If you happen to have her at 5 stars, it will greatly increase her physical attack power. Now, the universe. This is where it gets this is like a wall of text and slightly complicated, but not. It's damage oriented. Just think of it that way. Union Burst, the Dragon's Phantom. It is a huge single target physical damage attack. If she has her covert state buff up, it will increase the damage of the skill overall, increase the crit damage by 30%. At least one of the multi-hit Union Burst attack is going to be guaranteed a critical strike, and any critical strikes associated with this skill will do quadruple damage instead of the normal double. Put things more simply, when she does this, have the covert state up and she gonna hurt. Make sure her crit's good. There you go. You pair her up with Labby or something. A whole bunch of crits. There you go. It's kind of like what is it? Dress up Kokoro, Cinderella version Kokoro, costume Kokoro, whatever you hell you want to call it. I call it like costume Kokoro, Cinderella, whatever. Kind of the same premise as that. The damage is quadruple on crit, so you want her to crit. Just like her, if Inori here doesn't get crits, the damage that she does is going to be significantly less. She's got a crit. Let's throw her into combat. Woo. She really does. She has to get critical strikes. If she's not getting critical strikes, if she's not getting critical strikes, she goes from being actually a really damn good damage character to that basically sums that up. Real good sound effect too. Anyways, okay. So the covert buff thing. Okay, how does she keep it? Well, if she never ever takes a hit, she'll put it on and it'll basically be on indefinitely, more or less. I believe it's like I said, I believe it's an 18-second buff, and by the time the skills rotate and everything, it'll come back. She'll have her buff up again, and she'll just be covert the whole damn time. Pretty much, we hope. But when she's fighting on her own, like here, the covert buff does not apply. If she's if with the covert buff, if that character is the only one on the field, it does not apply. It can't stay up. Okay, so we're not seeing the kind of damage of me just, you know, walking through here with the covert buff up. Otherwise, this would go through even quicker. And she's doing pretty good without the covert buff. And okay, what else does the covert buff do? In case you didn't see the other video with Yumi, which I don't blame you. It's fine. It's a Yumi. It's a, yeah, or sad thing. Anyways, the covert buff makes it so that you are not the target of any kind of single target direct attack. You know, if there's like a buffer, let's say one of the bosses has something that's like, oh, we're attack the person with the highest physical attack, and that happens to be Inori. Well, if the covert state is up, you won't get that attack. It'll default to somebody else. If there is a single target that would normally hit like the third back in the row or whatever, just some kind of weird attack like that, if she has the covert buff up, she won't be considered the third. It'll probably go one back. And ah, crap. I didn't mean to have more stamina ready to go. All right, well, leveling up is fine and all, but I didn't want to level up right now. Inori, why'd you do this to me? But with the covert state buff, you know, what can hit her? Well, you know, attacks that hit everything overall, an AoE attack, a splash damage attack, that can still get her because it's not a direct attack. It's not focusing on her. Basically, if the attack would have focused the damage onto her, covert state gone, okay? Or if she takes a hit, covert state gone. If it would focus the attack on her, she avoids it, it goes to somebody else. That's what that does. One thing I did learn, though, is that apparently damage over time mechanics, like a poison mechanic or a burn mechanic, those don't interrupt the covert state. It's just getting a attack hit, like indirect, direct or indirect, depending on covert or not, that gets rid of the covert state if she has it. I am starting to trip over my tongue here. But, you know, damage over time mechanics such as poison and fire, flames, and sadness, or whatever. She seems sad all the time or crying, whatever. That actually will not affect the covert buff. It's a nice little thing to know in case you go up against a team that has a whole bunch of poison or something, or whatever. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button, guys. Surprisingly, though, this character is considered double S tier in the arena, double S plus, and double S plus potentially for damage versus bosses. That's pretty good. Let's raise her up another level. She'll be like my highest level character for a very short time. Yeah, this is one of those characters where it's like, okay, do you draw her? Do you go for her? I'm going to have to say yes. I'm going to have to say yes, especially right now since you get 200 fragments with her. Yeah, if you're going to take her as a damage dealer versus bosses and such, you need stats. You need 5 stars. You're going to need everything that you can so that she can get the crits. She needs the crits. Without crits, she's going to end up being worthless. But another thing is you can't really go up against a boss that has a large amount of AoE attacks. You know, if you got some boss that just, you know, constant splash damage, constant AoE, constant whatever, she ain't going to work out because she's just going to lose that buff. And without the covert buff, she's worthless. With the covert buff, she's ridiculous. Okay, there's already predictions that, you know, in the next few clan battles or whatever, she is going to be used and she's going to be ridiculous. Don't hold me to that. They're predictions. They may or may not come to reality, but this character, the potential for an incredible amount of damage done by this character, by Inori Phantom Thief, is very, very high. And in the arena, she can have a little bit of survivability with the covert buff and then all of a sudden just take off and destroy somebody. It's like a breakthrough character almost. And I don't know if I should put it that way, but maybe that's what she's supposed to be in the arena, a breakthrough character. Or just smash hammer happy character or something. She's not happy. She's always crying over something or whatever. Not a crybaby character. I'm not going to say she's a crybaby. I don't like crybaby characters, but Inori's super cute, doesn't cry as much as the certain other character that I may have talked a little too much trash about, but that's beside the point. Inori, good to pull. Take her to 5 stars right away. Have her in your back pocket and get ready to go because it seems like she's going to really, really, really be a massive damage dealer, at least as far as we know. We'll catch you in the next video.